So today we are going to start a very important topic in assembly, that is called as the procedures or functions or methods, right? And we are going to use them or define them using the parameters as well. And these procedures basically mean that we are going to write our own procedures, our own code for the functions. So these are basically user defined procedures, and we are going to see its declaration, how they are defined in the code with the help of the example. But before actually moving on toward the code or their declarations and definitions, we need to know a few things about it, about 2 or 3 topics. So we are going to start that first. So here we have 2 things called as invoke, and another one is address operator. So we have to know about these terms first before moving on to the procedures funda. Okay, so here we have invoke. In English, invoke means simply a call, right? And we are familiar with the call keyword in our assembly language as well. Like we use call write int. It does what? Write int is a function and call is used to call that particular function. But why we don't use invoke? There is a difference that we have to use invoke or we have to use call in assembly. When we use call, we are simply just calling that procedure. We are passing no parameters. Whenever we have used call write int, read int, call crlf, these things, we have never passed any parameter, right? So for that purpose we use call. But here we are going to start what? Procedures with parameters, right? We have to pass parameters, so we cannot simply do this thing with call keyword. Okay, when we have to pass parameters and we know that we call the procedures in our main functions by the high level languages. We know this thing, right? And we call those functions in our main to make them active, right? So here we are also going to do the same thing, but the difference between invoke and call, you have to know this thing already, right? So because we are dealing with procedures with parameters, so we have to use this invoke keyword, and this is a directive that works just like a call, but it can pass what? It can pass parameters to the procedure. This is very important. So we cannot use call, we have to use invoke. It pushes the parameters on the stack, of course, and call that procedure. After putting the parameters on the stack, then our procedure gets activated, right? So that's very simple thing. Next we have the address operator. In C language, we know that we use the ampersand operator for getting the location or the address of any element or any array or like this, right? So in assembly, we don't have any that particular symbol or ampersand sign or like that. We have this addr operator, and it is used to, you can say, get the address of the element, or if you are passing an array, so it is used to get the base address of that particular array. So this operator can be used to pass a pointer argument when calling a procedure using invoke. This is, you have to know that we have to call the procedure using invoke only, right? So you don't have to worry about this. The basic thing is that this operator, addr operator, can be used to pass a pointer argument. Why pointer argument? Because we know that when we you can say that when we want to get the address of any variable, any element, then only we can store that element or that address only in pointers, right? We are only going to take them in pointers or storing them in pointers. So we are going to, you can say that, to pass this array address through this operator, and the element or the variable that is going to pass or that is going to collect that address will be a pointer argument or pointer parameter in our function definition or declaration, right? So the following invoke statement passes the address of my array to the fill array procedure. Suppose this is any my array is some array, name of the array, and this is basically the syntax how we are going to call using the invoke. So here you can see, first we have to write this invoke keyword as it is, then this is my name of the, suppose I have declared any array, this is the name of the array, comma parameter 1, comma parameter 2, and then the address of some my array is the name of the array. We will see this thing through detail in next lectures also, so don't worry about this stuff. Firstly, we are not going to deal with arrays. This will be a little complex. First, we have to deal with simple elements, simple variables to understand the concept of procedures, right? So we will be seeing the example of procedures of simple variables, okay, in a while. Next important thing you have to know is prototype directive. We are familiar with prototype already by other languages, that it is just a sort of declaration, right? Like in C, it's not always to use the prototype, but if we are calling our some user defined function in main before actually defining that function above the main, right, we are definitely going to get an error. So in order to avoid that error, we know that we declare that function before the main function, and after main we define that function, right? So similar concept or similar funda is adopted by assembly as well. This is nothing new at all, okay? A prototype declares the procedure's name, and we know that we will have parameters for sure. So name and the parameter list. It allows you to call a procedure before defining it. Of course, before defining, we have to, you can say, declare above the main procedure. And to verify that the number and the types of parameters matches the procedure definition. We will see this thing in detail by this example. You can see that I have written a code as well already. So here you can see I'm going to add two numbers. This is my directive for comment. I'm going to add two numbers. So these are my two numbers that will be added using the add procedure. So normally, you know, we are familiar with these two declarations, normal local declarations. Then where we have to you can say this start the coding for our procedure that is going to be add. We have just recently seen that we have to you can say declare a prototype or make a prototype of the function or the procedure before main, right? So inside dot code and inside the above the main procedure, this is the location where we are always going to declare our function before defining it. This is, you can see, this is my prototype before the main procedure. And where the definition should be now, definitely now it can be, because we have declared it already. So now we can access or we can define it after the main procedure. This is my definition. After the main has ended, then I have written the definition for that. This is the definition, this is the prototype. Prototype means we are not going to write any actual code for that, only the declaration is there, right? And what's the syntax for declaration? This is, you can see, this is firstly I write the name of my function. My name of the procedure is add2, right? And since this is my prototype, so in order to tell the assembler, so I have to write this proto keyword here, must. This is very important. When you are going to declare, when you are going to write a prototype, you must have to write proto here. And when we are going to define the our function, we must use this procedure. For this procedure we use proc here. This tells us this is just simply a prototype, and this tells us that this is the definition of that procedure. These two must be used, okay? Then we use comma over here. This is just the syntax, you have to remember it as it is. Then this is my some variable, not this one, this is variable one, this is val one. This is another variable which I am going to use inside my this procedure, not main, okay? This cannot be used in main. So this is, its type is dword. This is how you declare a variable for our user defined functions with help of colon, okay? Then comma, next value, colon, its type. This is the syntax, complete syntax for the prototype. You have to take care of this, that you have to write the comma over here, then colon over here, then comma, like this structure must be followed as it is. And then inside our main procedure, what I am doing, I am just simply calling this procedure. And we know that we cannot use call now because we are passing parameters, so we have to use what? We have to use the invoke procedure or invoke instruction, right? So invoke, name of the function, that is add2, and then 2 parameters. And here we are not going to write the data type, like here we have written dword and dword, because here I am just calling. I don't have to declare them specifically because I have declared them over here. These two values 5 and 10, through this statement I am passing these two values to my add2 procedure. You have to compare this statement with your some other high level language so you can understand it very easily, that we have to pass the parameters through main, of course. So we are passing these two parameters, that is 5 and 10, to this. This 5 will be given to this val 1 and this 10 will be given to this val 2, right? These two values are being accepted by these two variables. Okay, and after calling this, when I use this statement I have called, and you have to remember one thing, that here you cannot use these parameters like val 1. You cannot use val 1 here or val 2, this one over here, because main procedure can, inside main procedure you can only use these local variables. These two are just meant for this specifically add2 procedure. Okay, you cannot use them, but of course you can use these two variables inside your add2 procedure. So when I use this invoke, the assembler ignores all these statements and simply move towards the add2 procedure. This is, we have seen that how we are going, this is not important for now, we will see this thing later. Okay, so add2 procedure, this is how we are going to define our function with this keyword. Then this is my variable 1, this is my variable 2. So inside the function you can say I am doing nothing. We are already familiar with these things, they are so common by now, that we are moving first value in EAX, then we are adding the second value with the first value, the result goes toward where the result goes into the EX register, and I am moving that EX value in EPX, right? In fact, this is also not important, you can ignore this movement, because we know that by this statement my result is storing in EAX, and by this return RET, you have to end your procedure by this if you want any value to be displayed on the screen. I have to return, this returns whatever is in EAX gets returned back to this main. Okay, suppose I'm adding this 5, because I know that my val 1 contains what, this value which is 5, this value 10 which is contained by this. So after adding we get 10 gets stored in EAX. Now I have to return that EAX. This statement simply returns whatever is in EAX. So return means I have to go back to that particular call again, right? And this indicates that add2 and b, that this function had, or this procedure has ended. Like here you can see, after writing my main procedure, here I have written what I have written, main and b, that my main procedure has ended. So here we have to write, after starting this procedure I have to end that particular procedure also, remember this. Okay, so in this way, by writing the name of that procedure and then end b, that end that particular procedure, and when our whole code or whole program is finished, then we use end main only. We cannot use it anywhere else, just when our whole code is finished. Okay, so adding was not a difficult task. What I wanted to know is just the declarations, prototype, how we call, how we declare the variables inside these procedures. Okay, so you have to take care of these things. So let me try to run it as well and see if there is any error or whatever. Okay, so we got our result, 5 plus 10 is 15. Okay, so I hope you have gotten this concept already. So that's it for today, and I'm also going to make video on arrays and those address operator and pointers, right? So stay tuned for that, and thank you.